Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu rasulillah, sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I wanted to take this opportunity, this beautiful forest in Romania here, to discuss with you the concept of fitrah, and a perspective that sometimes a lot of people do not maybe understand or do not look at. Sometimes when we are taught a certain way, we only look at one tree and we ignore the rest of the forest. And the forest is beautiful and has a lot of gems that we can take from. So the hadith that I want to discuss from a psychological Islamic perspective is the hadith of kullu mawludin yuladu ala al-fitra. That every born person, every human being, there is no exception, is born on the fitrah. Now, what does the fitrah mean? It means the natural disposition. From a theological perspective, it is the aqidah that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is one and only, unique, and that there's no deity except Him. From a perspective of the world, is that human beings are created by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a certain natural disposition, such as men are supposed to be men, and they have specific characteristics and specific benefits, specific attributes, while women are supposed to be women and they have specific benefits and specific attributes. And these things will never change. Even though people can corrupt them and they can destroy them, these things can never change. Just like these trees, they can never stop being trees. Now, as you can see there, some can be cut off, some can wither, some can be sick, but they can never stop being trees. You can corrupt them, you can destroy them, but they're always going to be trees. But we're in this world today where we're faced with this huge challenge of men not being men anymore and women not being women anymore. Now, let's look at the hadith and be careful and analyze the words. So, kullu mawludin yuladu ala al-fitra. So this is talking about the nature, the genes, you can say the way you are, in psychology, and I guess common terms, in the secular terms, you're talking about the nature. But then we have the nurture. We're always talking about nature versus nurture debate. For example, a person getting cancer. May Allah protect everyone. Is it because of their genes and it's hereditary? Or is it because of their lifestyle? Some people say, no, it's hereditary, you cannot escape it. Some people say, no, it's your lifestyle. Well, it's both. Everything in this world is both. Studies show that, but most importantly for us as Muslims, is because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually says that. Well, what? How? Do we ever think about it? When we talk about this hadith, we usually just talk about, okay, that وَأَبَوَيْهُ يُحَوِّدَانِ أو يُنَصِّرَانِ, that their fathers, or means mother and father here in the Arabic, they turn them into Christians, into Jews. So here we have two things, two important elements and concepts. Number one is that everyone is born on the natural disposition. They worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, meaning it's built in them to believe that there's only one God, creator. You're not gonna worship trees or statues or anything like that, no way. All right? But the second point, that's the nature, that's the gene, it's embedded in us, the God spot, it's in our nature, it's built in us, and we know that there's only one God. Second point that is extremely important, that is the point of that they get changed by their environment. In this case, the hadith, the environment is the mother and the father. The people around them, the tarbiyah that they receive, a tarbiyah or dabi'ah, or the environment, those things will change them and they'll cause them to basically become Christian, Jews, whatever. They change their predisposition now. So they've been predisposed to believe in a certain thing. They've been predisposed to fall a certain way. But now, because the environment didn't nurture those genes, didn't nurture that natural predisposition the way God created them, now they change. So another lesson, important lesson, other than just nature versus nurture. So both are mentioned, okay, just to review. Number one, the nature is mentioned, that a person is born upon the fitrah. They're created in a certain way. A tree is meant to be a tree. Okay, this tree right here is going to be a tree and always going to be a tree. That bush is going to be a bush and always going to be a bush. A man is always gonna be a man. That's how God created them. And it's in them to worship only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But then the nurtures also mentioned, which is the parents give them tarbiyah and the environment, why it's the culture of the parents. If they're in a Christian environment, they're gonna be changing now that child, even though they're born as a Muslim, as a person who submits to Allah, now they actually get brainwashed and changed into becoming Christian or Jew. That's the nurturing part. That is the environment, the culture, the agreed upon culture, expectations and practices that a group of people might have in a certain place in a certain time is the environment. But one important thing that comes out of hadith that a lot of people do not focus on is the question that we always ask and scientists ask and everyone asks: which one's more predominant? Which one's stronger? Which one have more influence? And we can see from this hadith, which one is it? I'm sure you can guess, and it is nurture. It is nurture. A person might be predisposed to cancer in their genes because hereditary or whatever. However, if they take care of themselves, if they protect themselves in a clean environment, a clean lifestyle, they will not get cancer, even though there's a hereditary gene there that might carry that cancer gene. However, if they take care of themselves, it will not actually affect them. Same way, we have to be careful. If we guard as a society, and here also the concept of the succession of generations and generational responsibilities mentioned in this hadith, because the parents are mentioned here, the two parents, mother and father, that they're the ones who start conditioning the child and misguiding them. Well, guess what? They themselves have been conditioned. And guess what? Why are they all conditioned, all these generations? Because the culture was not guarded against polytheism and against evil and so on. And we can look at this hadith from so many different directions. The concept of aqidah and faith and purity of faith, of tawheed. We can look at it from what's happening now with LGBTQ and the change of genders and all these corruptions. We can look at it from the concept of ethics and morality. We can look at it from the concept of roles and responsibilities. We can look at politically, you can look at so many, financially, health-wise. This hadith could be expanded into a book just by itself. And this hadith will always be relevant no matter what's going to happen in the world till the day of judgment. We can add mountains and mountains of different perspectives on it, and it will always be true. Because why? Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the one. This is wahi. Allah revealed it to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But to review again, three things. Number one, nature versus nurture is mentioned clearly. Number two, the environment and who controls the environment as it affects us, parents, society, those around us. And number three, which one has more influence? Is it nature or nurture? And it is clear from the hadith that it is nurture. It is the environment, the biyah, the environment that's going to condition you, the agreed upon ethics or directions, understandings that are going to actually influence who you are. So yes, a person can change. Yes, a person can be turned into, God knows what's happening today with all this LGBTQ. Yes, a person can be demoralized. Yes, a person can become a feminist, can be made into feminist. Men are becoming feminists. Why? Because they're being conditioned. Even though they're born as men, they're now changing into becoming women. They are cutting their private parts off and making surgery and making them into vaginas. A'udhu billah. And women the other way, they're taking what God has given them and make it into penises and trying to be like men and acting like men. This is why, because the most dangerous part, the nature is pure. Allah has created the nature pure. Tabarakallahu ahsanul khaliqeen. He is the best of creators. However, people have destroyed that nature through the nurture. The nurture is the one that can be corrupted. The nurture is the process of the environment, of the behavior of people, agreed upon ethics and morality, be them right or wrong, of people that will influence and condition and brainwash a person to believe that this is the right action for me to take. And I will change myself. God gave me a private part, I will cut it off and make it into something else. God gave me a certain face structure, I will tattoo it all and change it and file my teeth and put all kinds of earrings and all kinds of things. And that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, the shaitan will teach them to change the creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Beautiful hadith, very deep, 3 highlights: nature versus nurture, the environment and how culture and the responsibility of the parents, and of course that nurture is the more dominant and strong thing that will actually change a person. Let me know what you think in the comments, and subscribe and like and share this with someone might benefit, and check out the links in the bio. Our master classes, our courses, they help people get back inshallah to their natural disposition, because you can change the nurturing process, you can change the environment, you can remove yourself from an environment, but you can never change your fitrah. You can corrupt it, you can destroy it, but in the end a tree is going to be a tree, a man is going to be a man even if he destroys himself, and a woman is going to be a woman even if you uncover someone from their grave 100 years from now. Clearly you'll know that this was a man, this was a woman, no matter how they identify themselves as, whatever label they took for themselves, whatever they chopped off from their body. In the end, a man is going to be a man and a woman is going to be a woman. The society is destroying itself by making men into women and women into men, and those weak men are becoming worse versions of women when they become that woman, and those women become worse versions of men when they transition and become men. May Allah protect us from this and protect our children, most importantly, that everyone should comprehend this, and we should work together to protect our children and our societies and the future generation, inshallah, so that we don't become those who fall on the hadith, that even though Allah has given us something beautiful, we destroyed it. May Allah protect. Barakallahu feekum. Assalamu alaikum.